Good afternoon. My name is Keith Shindler. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to listen to our Facebook Live session. We're calling our Facebook Live session each period from Claim Your Justice. Our goal here is to help our clients in any situation learn how to claim your justice. You can reach us at 888-88-KEITH or visit us on the internet at our website at claimyourjustice.com, and feel free to send us an email through contact if you have any questions that you'd like to submit to us. You could also reach out to us through Facebook here. So today I want to talk about a very difficult shooting. So July 4th, more than a month ago, we had a terrible incident in Highland Park, Illinois during a Independence Day parade where there was a mass shooting that occurred. 7 people were tragically killed, many scores other were physically injured, and many beyond that were psychologically and mentally injured. And for my part of the job, in addition to being very sad about all of the events that occurred and all the people that were negatively affected, is how can I help someone claim your justice? And the question arises, and it's a difficult and sensitive subject, but who may be liable to pay for the people's damages that suffered psychological injuries, need counseling as a result of it, have some type of form of PTSD or other type of DSM-3 diagnosis? Who's going to pay for medical bills and pain and suffering and disfigurement for those that were tragically physically injured? Some had undergone many surgeries, and we know the story about the young boy that is paralyzed as a result. And of course, those sadly and tragically taken from us and were killed. And you would generally think the first reaction that no one is responsible for the criminal acts of a third person, because generally those criminal acts are not foreseeable. And we'll talk in 2 weeks about a recent event that happened where someone was sued for a repairman entering a customer's house, an 83-year-old customer's house, and killing her, and why that person was responsible. But in this topic, some of the same legal analysis applies. And anyone who's going to be named or targeted as a defendant in a civil case will say, I'm not responsible for the criminal acts of this mass murderer, and therefore I'm not financially liable for any of the injuries that you're claiming, whether it's wrongful death, a survival action, medical bills, disfigurement, future medical bills, pain and suffering, lost wages, and of course, any type of continued psychological care. Well, first of all, who could potential targets be? Well, the number one potential target could be the person or company that sold the weapon to this mass murderer, so that alleged mass murder. So in the event that there's a civil action brought, the gun companies are going to say there's a liability statute that protects them from these type of actions. However, that has been pierced a couple times, and I'm sure it'll be challenged again in this particular incident. You also have potential liability for the people who were promoting the event. Why? Because they may have been responsible for providing security, and then the question becomes, what is the level of security that they should have provided? I think it's not necessarily foreseeable that the event promoter should have had people on the roofs of the local buildings looking out for potential terrorists or mass murderers or shooters that would be on the roofs, but it's arguable, right? Because if this was happened in another jurisdiction possibly, then maybe within the association of event promoters, they said, hey, you need to make this part of your protocol. You could also have the owners of the buildings where this may have occurred. If they didn't properly secure their building, of course the owners of the buildings are going to say, or the property managers are going to say, we're not responsible. Again, criminal conduct is not foreseeable. Don't hang it on us. And I'd understand that argument. But the fact of the matter is I'm developing theories that may work to recover money, to help clients recover. help clients recover monetary damages for their losses. That's my concern. If the event promoter hired a separate security company, so that if the event promoter is company A and they say we put on events, we don't provide security, they hire security company B to provide security, then similar arguments may be applied to those companies to say, hey, security company, what did you secure? It wasn't so secure. Sadly, there may be some claims against law enforcement if there were incidences where allegedly law enforcement should have known that this person was a danger to society and should have arrested the person, and I don't know that that applies in this case. I'm not sure that it does, but it's potential targeting of defendants in these civil cases. There may be claims made against the parents of this person. The liability would say, hey, parents or relatives, did you know that this event was being planned? Did you have reasons to know that this event was being planned? And if so, you should have notified the police. And again, I don't think that that applies here, and all of these are allegations. We're just talking about possible potential theories of liability. Let's say that the shooter was an employee of a company and he was doing some type of work in the area while clocked in and committed this offense. Well, you would target the employer to say, hey, you hired this employee, you may have had reason to know he was a danger, and you let him be in an area that was populated with people enjoying and celebrating patriotism of our country, the 4th of July. The employer is going to say, I had no foreseeability. Again, there's lots of damages in this case, and in other mass shootings. There was one many years ago in Las Vegas, where the Las Vegas hotel was sued, and I believe the claim there was that the person who was the shooter was in his room for a certain number of days, didn't come out, the maid may have gone in. I don't remember the exact arguments there, but certainly those arguments were asserted. You may have a cause of action against a mental health care provider, so that if a person who's accused of a mass shooting was under the care of a mental health professional, there may be an argument, hey, mental health care professional, I know that the sanctity of the privilege between the doctor and the patient is sacrosanct. However, sometimes that could be pierced, and if there's a showing that there was a knowledge of imminent harm or a threat of harm. Last, you have something called a straw purchaser, where that if a person who uses a gun and should not have been using the gun, it wasn't legal to buy the gun, and they asked a third party to buy the gun for them, actually the term is straw purchaser, but it's basically a conduit. You get the gun, give it to me. I'm going to use it. Well, that straw purchaser certainly may be on the hook for that. So these are very sensitive subjects. I felt a little bit uncomfortable bringing this up and having a conversation about it, but I wanted to know, everyone to know that you got to be thinking about potential ways to recover money, because injuries happen to innocent people, and sometimes innocent people are not able to collect the monetary compensation that should to properly value their injury. And I'm giving you some ideas on how we would evaluate cases like this. If you, family member, anyone you know is injured in a car, truck, any type of work-related accident, slip and fall, reach out to claim your justice. Let us explain your rights. We'll explain how the representation works. There's no fee for our services until we win your case. Thank you for taking time today to listen, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you.